Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, and welcome to Netflix versus Cinema, the podcast that this week has decided, we've all decided to go all in and join Sharon in some Frank Grillo love. We've all decided to go all in with that. My name is Toasted, and I am your host. And joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight are Sharon.
Hello.
And Shaun.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay, so we're talking about this because if you haven't listened to us before, what we do in Netflix with Cinema is we go to the cinema now that we're allowed to again, and we see three things in the cinema. We see three things at home. Sometimes we see more than that, but we try and cut it down to three in each one of these places. And then we rate them all out of 5. And at the end of the day, we see who has given us better bang for our buck. Where has our money been better spent this week? Has it been at cinemas or has it been at home with Netflix and various friends? So this week, I mentioned us all joining Sharon for some Frank Grillo love, because I know all three of us in the cinema this week saw Copshop.
Yeah.
With Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler. And I think that's the only film I saw and the only film that Sharon saw. But Shaun, we never have anything to worry about because we know Shaun's going to pick up the slack. Shaun's going to go there and find cinemas that are showing films when other cinemas like the Blue Cinema Reddit are not showing anything. And so, Shaun, what else did you see this week?
Well, I've seen at the cinema. I've seen Malignant. I've seen our Frank Grillo Copshop, and I did go and see Respect as well. I figured what I do is hedge my bets because I had a feeling that Sharon would probably see Copshop. I thought you might have seen Respect, actually. I had a feeling that you might have seen Respect, but just in case you hadn't, I thought I better do a third just in case, really. So I was thinking, that was my train of thought.
Of course, a very safe train of thought.
Because I did send a message to Shaun and said, what have you seen? Because I'll see if there's one you haven't seen, I'll see that. Because I had a choice of Copshop and Franklin. And Shaun said, well, I've seen them both. I thought, well, I'll just go with
Franklin. By Franklin, you mean Respect, the Aretha Franklin story.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, Respect. I
know it's called Respect, but they should have called it Aretha, I reckon. But there's probably loads of other stuff called Aretha.
Because there's a new Diana, Princess of Wales film coming out called Spencer.
Yeah.
And so I've just got it in my head that films are called after someone's surname.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of rewatching things. So because I like to do it because I watched Alien again. And do you know, that gets better each time I watch it. I really, really enjoyed Alien.
The first one, Alien.
The first one, the first Alien film. It's absolutely terrific.
Yeah, that's slightly more. I think Aliens is more populist because it's more of an action film, isn't it? Whereas Alien is a bit more.
Yeah, it's a total terrific film. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, Alien is almost kind of like an art film.
It is, yeah.
To be honest with you. All right, cool. So, that is what we saw in the cinema, and there is more stuff There's more stuff that I can talk to you about. Or when you get to talk about Respect, there's more I have to say about that. But now, what did we see at home? So, Sharon, what did you see at home this week?
I've seen 2 films actually. I was going to do one as an also ran, which is a film called Blue Miracle. I saw on Netflix. Okay. And then I saw another Frank Grillo film called No Man's Land on Sky Cinema, but you can also watch it on Amazon, but you have to pay to watch it on Amazon.
Sharon, not to be outdone. Everybody else saw Frank Grillo. No, I love Frank. Frank and me have something special. We're going to have some more Frank than everybody else. How about you, Shaun? What did you see at home?
Okay, well, I went over to see my friend Pete for the weekend, and he's got Apple TV.
Oh, yeah.
So we watched a few. We watched a mod film, To Be Someone, and I watched, what's his name? John Travolta film. I wanted to say John Wick then. A John Travolta film, I Am Wrath. And I watched Greyhound. Again, I've seen Greyhound before, and I'm not sure if I've reviewed that.
You reviewed Greyhound, yeah.
I thought I had, yeah. So I watched that again because that's a great movie. I think I probably gave that quite a high rating as well. So yeah, and I've watched, as I say, I've been rewatching lots of stuff. I don't know, the past couple of times I just thought, do you know what? Just relax and watch some things. So yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so with that, but before we get onto our reviews, I just wanted to say that you know how we are on this show, and we love it when people get in touch with us. People get in touch with us, and they say whatever it is that they want to say, whatever it is that they want to. And this time we have a YouTube channel, and on our YouTube channel we have, obviously we put up videos of us talking. We have us recording this podcast. Now we have it on Zoom. We put them so you can see us. You can see our faces if you're wondering what we look like on our YouTube channel, and you can watch them all. Our most watched video on our YouTube channel is a review that Sharon did of a French drama called The Bonfire of Destiny. And it's, for some reason, people search for these things, and we are something that people keep finding. And someone with the YouTube name of Bluewren Reilly actually came and gave their own full review on there. So Bluewren, I promised that I'll read this out, so I'm going to read it out. And this is, so Sharon gave a review, and then this is they pretty much posted their own review. And Sharon, let's see what you say. I'll try and get the syntax right and everything. They said the lead actress, I assume, was the svelte redhead as she was on screen most of the time. Yes, she was visually the part. I just found her irritating the extreme. I wanted to slap her when she should have evoked sympathy.
Whereas the very beautiful blonde actress was promising until her performance became mostly defiant, glassy-eyed staring and weeping. She had looked like she had depth. Why did the wardrobe dress her in a long white off jacket with a great upper bouffant sleeve when she rode away from the chateau and when she rode away from the chateau on her horse, it clumped along like a draft horse. Like a draft horse. I think there's supposed to be a full stop here. Like a draft horse, full stop. Could they not have acquired a more svelte-looking thoroughbred? She was supposed to be of the French upper class, for goodness sake. This sounds like Shaun. Shaun, do you have a YouTube name called Bluewren Reilly?
No.
Going, wrong horse! The fellow playing her love interest was just not her type. Oh, I don't know what that means. Then there was the mad-eyed villain who was about to kill the redhead in the last scenes and didn't. Obviously, this person didn't bother finding out anybody's names. Didn't, which disappointed actually. The best part of the film was the French architecture and the beautiful interior French decor. Except for the actress playing the aunt and the redhead sister, the performance was exquisite and lovingly and charmingly spot on. So that was after Sharon had given that. Bluewren gave that. And if you get in touch with us, we will read them out. Now, I don't know what's going on here. Like, can't remember any of the names of any of the characters. But hey, whatever. Sharon, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Yes, I had to rack my brains because it was probably last year that I saw Bonfire of Destiny, which is basically, I think it was a 6-part, or it might have been an 8-part even, a French drama about a real-life fire. You follow the lives of 3 women and the repercussions of this fire on their lives. You've got the redhead, it was like this upper-class woman. The blonde woman is her niece, I believe. And then the other woman, who is not mentioned in their review, is a maid. And all these people their lives are just dramatically changed by this fire. Mm-hmm. And so, I take the point on board, because as the story goes on, it becomes more about the women's love lives and about the sort of the rather than the direct repercussions of this fire. And so, yes, the love interest, he's like this sort of rough working class man who saved her life. So they're then drawn to each other, and they have this sort of cathartic relationship where they're drawn together through this dramatic event. Whether if they'd met under any other circumstances, would their romance have worked? Probably not. So I get I take that on board completely. And some of the secondary characters were really, really well played and were sympathetic. So I can't disagree with anything that's been said.
All right, cool. Good stuff. Right, and now let's move on to what we're going to talk about this week. So enough about stuff that we watched a year ago. Bluewren, thank you very much. Please do continue listening and get back in touch. Let's get on to the actual stuff we saw this week. Sharon, let's talk about Copshop. And obviously, because there is only one person who we can give the honor of talking about Copshop and giving us a synopsis of what this film's about. Sharon, it is yours. Take it away. Tell us about Frank.
Right. This is a film set in a place called Gun Creek, which probably tells you all you need to know about the tone of this film. And we first encounter the players of our play in Gun Creek, where you have it's a very big police headquarters in this largely rural is it Texas?
It's
Where all-
Nevada.
I thought it was Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, it's Nevada, yeah.
So it's like this sort of quite a bleak landscape, and they've had this huge police headquarters, and seemingly to us, it's like it's in the middle of nowhere, where they have like the highway patrols and they have state troopers, and so obviously they have all the different branches of the police force have this one police headquarters. And in the course of the events of the film, there's an event where a man is desperate to get arrested because he believes the safest place for him is behind bars because someone is after him. You first encounter this character played by Frank Grillo as he's fleeing for his life. His car's being shot up. He's in a desperate state, and so he assaults a police officer to get arrested because he knows if you assault a police officer in America, you go down and you get arrested. So he is then taken to the police station, the police headquarters, where there's a ragtaggle of very unfit police officers who are like pulling a night shift for some overtime. And then into this mix, the pursuer of said Frank Grillo's character, played by Gerard Butler, he's thinking, well, if he's in the police station, I need to get into the police station because I want to, get to my target. And so he does something to get himself arrested. And so you then have this sort of situation where it's almost like a siege, but from within, where you've got these two protagonists squaring off against each other, and all the police officers basically become their pawns, and chaos ensues.
Cool. All right. Good. Thank you very much for that. And I have to say, I mean, when I watched this, one of my first thoughts was, "Oh, Sharon, he kept his shirt on for the entire film."
Well, you had a glimpse of chest, didn't you? When he has a wound, and that's the only glimpse of any sort of Frank Grillo chest.
Yeah. Apart from that, he keeps his shirt on for the entire film.
What did you think of his persona in this film with the long hair and what have you?
I thought his hair was vile, to be honest with you.
I thought you might.
The first scene, I was just like, nope.
And
then when he had it up in the man bun, I was like, better. But I was just like, nope. Cut that. But he was doing this with his hair. I'm thinking, you're going to grab some scissors and chop it all off. But
Okay, now the funny thing about this is that not that I'm an aficionado of what people look like or like on screen or anything like that, but I did because I remember you were talking about this film last week and you said that you saw the poster and you saw his mustache and you were like, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that Frank Grillo mustache. That's a baddie. He's a wrong one. And I did watch it. I did look at his hair and it was weird. I was looking at the hair and looking at his face and going, that is not a good look for him. But I think it does fit the character because the character is supposed to be
absolutely.
The character is supposed to be a slime ball, and it's and I feel like almost sort of victimizing a hairstyle and facial hairstyle by saying, "Oh, that just looks slimy." That you can tell from his hairstyle is a wrong one. But that was my initial reaction. I might need to go think about myself, but that was my initial reaction. I totally understood what you're talking about with that, Sharon.
And there's a scene where you see him as a flashback scene where he's got like I could only describe it as like a blue Western cut suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you go, whoa.
Okay. Now that suit. Now this leads me on to something. That suit made me wonder. Hang on a second. When is this film set? Because that film was very 70s, and from the opening scene of this film, I was like, oh my god, this is so 70s. It is so. I mean, even the music. I believe some of the music that the film starts off with is actually taken from the score of Magnum Force. The Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry.
Yeah. It has that slightly disco track to it, doesn't it?
It has that disco track to it. Like it's as if the music at the beginning, it's like this film goes. It's almost as if it's telling you this is a film. We know it's a film. We're not trying to be too realistic. We're a film, and it made me think. I'm actually quite happy that you watched it, Shaun, because I was kind of like watching it going, I think this is 70s. This is the director Joe Carnahan, who I think I'm going to stop earmarking Joe Carnahan. Whenever he directs something, I think I'm going to look out for it because I actually quite like his sensibilities. He also directed Boss Level, the other Frank Grillo movie that we reviewed recently. So it's but I feel like he just has that sort of 70s vibe, that sort of lean, muscular
that influence you can see.
Yeah, we're not gonna spend too much time building things up. We're not going to give you a whole bunch of fluff or anything like that. If somebody is on screen, they're on screen for a reason because they're gonna propel the story forward. And you had all these different, and I think I really, really do like that sort of muscular, lean. Let's this is it. Let's get this thing done.
Yeah, this is not about the chat. This is about the action. And it had that classic. It's called Ibsen's gun, I believe, isn't it? That they say
Chekhov's
in an
gun.
Ibsen play, if you see a gun in the first act, then someone is going to get shot in Act 3.
Yeah.
Or something is going to get shot in Act 3.
Yeah.
And so you had that classic scenario where something you see more or less in the first scene, it's like wig, and then it appears later, and you think, that's why they. Ibsen's gun.
Okay, now we usually give ourselves 5 minutes per film, but when 3 of us have seen it, we all have stuff to say, so we go a little bit longer. And the other thing I was going to say, and I'm going to leave this as a jumping off point for Shaun to jump on. The other film it made me think about was Assault on Precinct 13.
Do you know, it's really funny you should say that, Toes, because it did have tones of that, didn't it?
It really did.
It really did. I thought that. It was I thought it was going to be much more slapstick than what it was, actually. It quite surprised me, because from the trailer, I thought this was going to be like a real slapsticky sort of film, real played for laughs and all that. And there was that comedic element to it, but it was also, in a way, quite sort of serious.
It was quite hard boiled, I was saying.
Yeah, it was quite hard boiled. Yeah, that's a good description. I mean, Frank Grillo with isn't it funny how you think through films? I thought, Sharon is not going to like that. That was one thing I thought.
it's like Frank, what have you done to your hair, man?
What have you done, Frank?
With that crazy, the bit in the beginning when it was all like this, I was just like, what?
It's like, Sharon's not going to like that hair.
I thought it was, it was fun. It moved along a bit. I thought the cops were a bit dumbass, but there you go. Sort of, especially, it's like, the bits, what's you sort of thing. I think
yeah.
I think they'd have been, but I mean, it was quite sort of, I don't think it would have ever got to that stage anyway. But once it did, it was like, it was quite good fun. It was a bit of a laugh. There was lots of action scenes in it. As I say, I could have been really, really picky with this, but on the whole, I thought it was a decent watch. I didn't have me huffy puffy moments, and so even though I was thinking,
yeah, and it keeps moving.
And it keeps moving. That's it. It keeps moving, and the performances were pretty good. And I did quite like the twist towards the end with the different roles.
Yeah, because it was.
I mean, that was a good move.
Yeah, I think the thing with the film is, it's one of those films where, because I remember last week when we spoke about it, Sharon, you said, is Frank Grillo the good guy and Gerard Butler the bad guy? And you start watching the film and you start realizing, actually, we don't know who the good guy is or who the bad guy is. and
or even if there is a good or a bad guy.
You don't know if there is a good or a bad guy.
It's all shades of grey, isn't it, in some ways?
You're watching it and you're going, okay, cool. Now I want him to go. I want him to come out of this ahead. No, I want him to come out of this ahead. Now I want them to come out of this ahead. And it sort of plays with your loyalties in that way. Shaun, it looks like you're about to say something.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was going to say, it was, I've totally forgotten what I was going to say. Anyway, carry on. And it'll probably come again in a couple of minutes. I've lost my train of thought there.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those classic things. Unless you see someone's died on screen, doesn't mean they're dead.
Oh yeah, I remembered.
It's like, we think they're dead, but we haven't seen them die. That means they're probably not dead.
Speaking of that, there was one blatant moment in the film that I saw that made me go, hang on. No, come on. No, that's really stupid. No, why would he do? No, he wouldn't do that. Yeah. I could almost hear Shaun in the cinema with me going, "Why would you do that?"
Yes.
And I was like, "No, why would you?"
I thought I did think that a bit.
You wouldn't do. Why would you put that? No, why would you say that? That doesn't make any sense. And there was one blatant moment where I thought, okay, that didn't make any sense. But yeah, sorry, Shaun.
The thing I remembered, I've actually wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it this time. Who was the actress who played the rookie cop?
Alexis Louder.
I thought she was really good.
I think she stole the film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think she stole the film. Alexis Louder. She kind of holds the whole film together, and it's not an easy thing when you have Frank Grillo and Gerard Butler trying to choose scenery around you. Oh, by the way, I have to say, Gerard Butler, probably the best American accents I've heard him do.
Yeah, normally you get a little bit of hint of the Scots coming through.
You get a little bit of Glasgow coming through, but largely speaking, best American accent that I've heard him do, but I think Alexis Louder was brilliant. She just held everything together. She was
really.
Yeah, I thought she was brilliant. I think towards the end, I feel like the film, personally speaking, I think the film should have ended a couple of scenes earlier, because there's like the last couple of scenes, it's kind of like the last couple of scenes I think almost lose the film a star for me, because I'm looking at it going, wait, why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, not necessary.
That's not necessary. That's not going anywhere. That car is obviously way slower than that car and will never catch it. So it's like, so why is this scene here? It's like the final scene of the film, it's sort of like, because if it ended a little while forward, I think it would have been like, yeah, this is one of those, one night siege. You start off at midnight and then the film ends at sunup, and you're like, nice, well contained, like you're from dusk till dawn, you're salt and peaches like theme. This sort of films, it would have come into that thing, but apart from that, I just thought, it followed a bit. But all in all, I'm like Joe Carnahan. I really like his sensibilities. I really like the film. I loved the whole 70s vibe and feel of it, and I love the fact that it's a muscular film with hardly any fat on it. So even the gunfights I thought were good. But sorry, I thought you were going to say something, Sharon. But
no, I just saying I like the fact that, again, with bullets flying everywhere, you don't ever see the shell casings, you don't ever see the repercussions, and at this one you see the consequences if you sort of spray bullets around a bulletproof door.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, no,
well, really good because often you see it's like an A-team, isn't it? 1,000 rounds, but you never see a shell casing, and you never get any consequences.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is
any
like,
friendly fire.
Yeah.
I do. No, yes, that is good, because there's a character played by an actor called Toby Huss who shows up. I think the character's called Anthony Lamb. And he shows up and he's just kind of like, like a loose cannon, like a loose cannon kind of thing, who just, and it's, I really, really enjoyed this film. But how many stars would you guys give it?
Do you want to start, Sharon, as you gave the thing?
Well, I'd probably give it a classic 3. I thought it was entertaining. It delivered what it was supposed to deliver. It didn't pretend to be anything more than it was, but it did what it did well. So I would say it was a good, honest, solid 3.
3 solid. I'm totally with you all the way. Solid 3 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. It's a 3. I mean, I was there was a bit where I was thinking this might actually go up to a 4, because it sustained the tension and the whole thing. It kept everything together. It was building, and you were like, oh my god, this is actually going quite well. There was one particular scene that was done. It has to do with a keypad and someone trying to change a passcode, and just the tension of that thing, and like it said a lot about the characters in that one scene, and I was like, this is really good, and I was thinking this might be a 4, but towards the end, it's like especially that final sort of couple of scenes, I think bring it down a bit. So makes me think it's a 3. But a lot of fun. I would really, really recommend Copshop to anybody. Go find it. Go watch it. All right, cool. And now, because Shaun, if it's okay with you, I have taken the liberty of choosing from your viewing thing, just based on what you said. Like you said, some weird film called To Be Someone. So I thought,
it's not some weird film. It's quite a new film.
Okay, yeah, but the way you spoke about it, you said, we saw some weird film called To Be Someone, or like you.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so to be someone, I was thinking I Am Wrath, because John Travolta, we haven't heard anything about John Travolta for years. So I wanted to hear some stuff about John Travolta.
Okay, John Travolta, that's cool.
But if you want to do To Be Someone, let me.
Okay, well, let's just say I'll put it this way. I Am Wrath is basically a John Wick film where he's got a buddy. So that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
Except his wife gets killed, and it goes all the way to the top with so his wife get killed. He goes to the cops. So he goes to the cops let the guy go because he's ID'd him. They have one of those. He says, yeah, that's the one, that's definitely the one, tattoo there. Oh, but he's got a tattoo of a fly or a bug. Yep. And he told them that it was a bat. He thought it was a bat. They say, oh, well, he's got a fly. He goes, no, that's them. This is just, it could have looked, because he's been beaten up, basically.
Yep.
So anyway, he sees this guy walk away, and the cops, and they say, yeah, well, there's nothing we can do. And so he decides that he's not very happy about the situation. And it just sort of turns out that he happened to be a black ops special operative, with all the right connections. So he, how it is. So he's find people, and so basically, he just goes and he takes it all into his own hands. And so it's like, should we say, John Wick meets the Equalizer. Meets lots of action, lots of killing, lots of a couple of silly fight scenes where I have this big beef, don't I? That when there's 2-on-2 and this guy's like, there's a guy that's taken out hundreds of the characters, and then 100 of the hoods, shall we say, and then there's one that looks fairly weedy and weak, and he has a bit of trouble with him. Do you know what I mean? So you got anyway. So you've got quite a lot of knife fighting action. You've got a lot of
gun
shooting, a lot of guns, a lot of gunfights. I quite like his mate, the mate he's got with him. But then obviously this goes higher up the chain, so it turns out that it goes all the way up to almost like the senators and all that sort of stuff. So. He goes, that's out, because with the tattoos, he goes to a tattooist and he's like talking to the tattooist.
Or is it like a detective thing where he's trying to track people down?
No, it's not really a detective, no, but he just he sort of goes because this tattoo shop, because he wants to find the guy with the tattoo. Yeah. And of course, he's the tattooist, obviously says, well, what you do and what you're asking. And he's tattooed on, he said, that's a nice tattoo. And he's actually got tattooed, I am Wrath on the back of it, on his back. So he's got I am Wrath with a big dagger. So, yeah. And go on.
So from what you said, I've just looked this up.
He looks a bit chubby, John Travolta, though.
Well, he's allowed to. What the guy he's gonna be like. That's the thing. I think like people they shouldn't expect them to always look like he did in Saturday Night Fever. But let's say that this one was released in 2016.
Right.
2016.
Okay. So, yeah.
John Wick,
was that before John Wick? Yes.
No. John Wick was 2014.
Ah, right.
John Wick was 2014. So, but it does sound a little bit from what you're saying, like how in the aftermath of especially Taken, all of a sudden you started having aging action stars going on revenge movies.
Yeah.
So much so that it became known as Jerry Action.
Oh right, okay, I didn't know that. But
yeah. It's his own subgenre called Jerry Action, where you have like those older dudes going on and going, right, that's it, I'm gonna go beat up a couple of younger people who have killed my dog, killed my wife, killed my whatever, blown up my truck.
I have a particular set of skills and I'm going to demonstrate.
Yeah. So from what you're saying, it sounds like this is essentially someone went, oh, this seems to be a new genre. Let's get John Travolta. He hasn't done anything for a while, and put him in a film and redo Taken or redo John Wick.
Yeah, redo. That's it. Yeah. So basically, it is what it is. It does what it says on the tin. Acting wise, I'm not sure who his mate is. I've seen him. He's one of those ones, like
Christopher Maloney.
Oh, Christopher Maloney. I've seen him
He's known, but he was in one of the Law and Order. I think it was Special Victims Units. He was in Law and Order Special Victims Units. It's the thing that he's most well known for. But after he left Law and Order, the guy has been having fun. There's a TV show on Netflix called Happy. In which it's about he's like this sort of drunk cop and he has an imaginary friend, essentially an imaginary friend voiced by Patton Oswalt, who is this sort of like, unicorn that goes along and sort of like solves crimes with him and has to find out what's going. And Shaun, I think you would like Happy.
I might have to check that one out.
Find Happy on Netflix to check it out. Okay. Now, it is never a good sign when you're reviewing one film and then you start reviewing a totally different thing in the middle of the first review. So Shaun, how many stars would you give this?
Okay, this is what it says on the tin. The action scenes were okay. It's basically, like we say, John Wick, Taken, Equalizer, all rolled up into one. So this will get a 3-star because I didn't like Huff and Puff, and it was okay. There were a few moments where I thought, wow, I don't know, but on the whole, it was a pretty good movie. Quite enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll give this a 3.
Oh, apparently it's got Rebecca De Mornay in it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that's it. Not memorable at all. Okay, so now we go back to what is Shaun's place this week, and Shaun's place, which is cinema, because Shaun is the one who saw all this stuff in cinema, and you saw Respect.
I saw Respect. Yes,
this is the Aretha Franklin biopic, and I mentioned last week as to how everything about this film, I saw it and it just made me think this is a by the numbers biopic, and that is the reason why I didn't see it, because I saw the trailer and it came down between Copshop and Respect, and I've got to the point, I don't know about you guys, but I've got to the point where I would much rather see a documentary about a musical star or anything like that, because I feel I will learn a lot more about them through a documentary than I would through a biopic. Because in a biopic, I feel like it's almost too sanitized. There's only a couple of storylines that I can follow along. And I may be wrong, but I just felt I'm going to have more fun with Copshop than I am going to have with Respect if I have to see one film this week. So it might be Aretha Franklin, she might be a black legend and all that, but I'm like, give me a documentary about her, not a biopic.
Because you feel once they did sort of What Love's Got to Do with It with Tina Turner, you think,
no, that was good.
That was it's sort of, they're all more or less sort of
but I mean,
vanity projects, or they're downhill from there, aren't they?
But recently they all kind of follow the same thing. You know, there'll be drugs, there'll be this, there'll be that, there'll be the rise, there'll be the fall, there'll be the comeback. It's kind of so. But Shaun, you're the one who's actually seen this film.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So what do you?
I mean, I can understand exactly what you're about. I mean, I quite like, I have liked biopics, some biopics. I guessed it was so I thought, but I totally agree with you that I think they've had their day, so basically it's a story. She starts off as a child, she sings gospel in the church, she's like, really, really good, her father's got faith in her and that, and then, she starts to get known. She's obviously a bit of abusive relationship, she's on the old sauce, on the drinks and that, the general sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
you know the deal.
You know the deal, yeah, right. So for me, I thought this was dull and tedious and overlong and really, really quite dull. And I nearly dropped off. And thank goodness for the live bits and the singing, because that sort of brought me back round to my senses.
Yep.
Okay, because they were pretty good. But as for the rest of it, and I really, what is it? I don't like Forrest Whitaker, I really, really don't like Forrest Whitaker. He's like one of my Stanley Tucci things. But anyway, so this was pretty standard. It was dull. And the performances, they didn't convince me, Toes. They didn't convince me at all. I mean, she was brilliant. Is it Jennifer Hudson? Is that
Jennifer Hudson? Yeah, Jennifer Hudson plays Aretha Franklin.
I mean, the songs were great, and I mean, that side of it. Obviously some real, there was some real footage in there, some historical footage of like funerals and things, which they pop in, which so that's a documentary, and I totally agree with what you say. I would have much rather seen a documentary, because I was, my normally sort of back prone position, what I do in the cinema, I sort of extremely slouched. Well, I could really, really feel myself just starting to, the old. I thought,
just check out.
Yeah, I think I might have even at one point actually dropped out. I hope I wasn't snoring. So, but I did this. It's not really my cup of tea. Really, I thought it would be, because I mean, I liked Ray, and those other biopics.
Well, I think the ones that sort of kicked off the mono ones were Ray and Walk the Line.
Walk the Line.
Yeah, Ray and Walk the Line. But have you guys ever seen a film called Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story?
No,
I haven't seen that.
Okay, it's not Will Ferrell, but it's produced by the same house that does like Anchorman and stuff like that, like Adam McKay, and it's John C. Reilly, and he plays a character called Dewey Cox, and it is essentially a spoof of biopics. And it points out the fact that they all follow the same thing.
I'll have to check that one.
Yeah.
That's honestly, you see, walk. I think it's like Walk Hard. It's essentially Ray. It's Walk the Line. It's spoofing all these things. It's first marriage, second marriage. I started off on drugs. Then I went on to pills. Then and there's a bit where there's this recurring motif that happens in the film where he walks into a room and his bandmates are doing, it's like, hey, what are you guys doing there? They're like, we're having some alcohol. Go away, man. You don't want any of this stuff. They're like 10 minutes later, he comes, he's like, what's happening there? We're doing pills, man. Go away. You don't want any of this stuff. And then he goes away, then he comes back. He's like, what are you doing? We're doing heroin, man. This is the next logical step for you. and it just makes fun of the fact that the biopics, and I think after seeing Walk Hard, it's hard to watch it. It's hard to watch a biopic because it's skewered them, and you're like, yeah, that's what. So give me a documentary, because by the people who lived through it, who were there, who did all this stuff. That for me is a lot more. I think a biopic. I'm honestly not sure where the music biopic stays, especially because a lot of the times I'm not sure they have anything to say. So Shaun, how many stars would you give this?
Okay,
this snooze fest. Apparently,
this snooze fest is only going to get a 2.
Okay.
Right. This is only going to get a 2. I mean, yeah, the music, the singing was pretty good, but it was like, oh no. And I think I'm probably going to give biopics a bit of a rest for a while if there's any more coming out.
I think I've already.
Are you going to be watching Spencer then about the Princess Diana?
Probably not.
Okay, no, this is the thing for me.
Unless Camilla, I'd like to see what Camilla looks like. That would be all. How they've done. Will she be in it?
No, I think music biopics. Music biopics
they are a thing of their own, yeah.
Yeah, music biopics are the ones I give a break. But like, for instance, something like, if we look about like The Crown, which is essentially a biopic of the royal family and The Crown I find fascinating because they tell you all this stuff that nobody knows, and they've pieced together something. And so something like Spencer, I remember that the Spencer's been directed by the same guy who directed Jackie a couple of years back, which was all about Jackie Kennedy in the aftermath of John F. Kennedy's death. And that I thought was a really, really interesting film. Like, what was going on. And I think that they found a way in there. So biopics, for music biopics, I'm totally with you.
Yeah, they're a beast of their own. Yeah.
I'm giving them a berth. But anyway, let's get back to Netflix and stuff. So this is going to be something that I saw on Amazon Prime called Solos. Now, this is something that I can see was made in the pandemic and was made with, how can we still make something when the pandemic is going on? So the idea behind this is like, it's one of these anthology shows where you have a star in each episode. So in this episode, you have Anne Hathaway. In this episode, you have Helen Mirren. In this episode, you have Anthony Mackie. But the idea behind them being called with solos is that, largely speaking, you only have one person on screen throughout the entire episode. So the first episode is Anne Hathaway, and she's some sort of scientist who's trying to figure out a way of conversing with her future self. And she's trying to figure out the whole thing, and the reason why, and as it goes along, it's almost like a one-act, one-person play. As it goes along, she manages, you end up with this thing where you have like 3 Anne Hathaways talking to each other on screen at the same time, because she manages to figure it out, but you start realizing that there's more emotional thing that she has to do. You have Anthony Mackie, he has gone to this, he's paid a whole bunch of money to get a robot version of himself made because he's about to die. He's about to die, and this robot version of himself is supposed to be there for his family after he's gone. And so it's all about a conversation of him and his robot self, and him going, "You look nothing like me. Look, what the hell's wrong with your neck? Why are you being like that? I'm not." It's like why are you being like that? I'm not a dick. Why are you being so mean to me and all that? And his robot self going, "No, this is exactly you. we have. So it's all these sort of interesting, almost sort of Black Mirror type things. Helen Mirren is on a space voyage on her own, and she tells the story of her life and it's actually really, and I think a lot of these things are well done as plays. You have there's one where you have I'm blanking on her name. She was in Black Mirror. She was in Sleepy Hollow. Why am I blanking? Okay, anyway, but she
not Miranda Richardson.
No, not Miranda Richardson. She is. Oh, good Lord! I'll look up her name
Christina
before this.
Ricci?
No. She isn't. No, Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow, the TV series.
The TV series, yeah.
She was also in the film Shame with Michael Fassbender. I will find her name before we finish this. And Nicole Beharie.
Oh yes, I know the one.
Yeah, Nicole Beharie. That's it. Yeah, and she's pregnant, but it's kind of like some sort of specific scientific thing of pregnancy, and then all of a sudden the pregnancy accelerates, and then the baby's born, but the baby grows up like 15 years in one night. but the main thing is all about it's largely speaking one person on screen that whole time, and it's all these different sort of almost future tinged stories that what can we do with technology. As I say, there's a very sort of like Black Mirror thing about it that kind of goes quite well. I mean, Dan what's his why am I blanking on people's names? Dan Stevens shows up, and this is one of the few episodes where you have two people, where Dan Stevens and Morgan Freeman show up, and it's all about Morgan Freeman. Seems like he's losing his memory, and Dan Stevens trying to help him get his memory back. But why is he trying to help him get his memory back? And it's I know there's another show called Soulmates that Amazon. You know how we talk about Amazon have decided that this is the thing we're going to do, and Amazon decided time loop films. Yes, please. And I think anthology, science fiction type things, because they've done this and they've done Soulmates. And Solos and Soulmates look very aesthetically similar. They look aesthetically similar. They've also done Modern Love, which is an anthology. But it seems to be one of those things. And you have all these stories together. And I think some of them are more interesting than others. Some of them are a bit kind of like snoozy. And at the end of the whole show, you're kind of left going, so it's like it's a good experiment. Is you look at it going, okay, yeah, it was a good experiment. I could see what happened. You're trying to get something going in pandemic, and you managed to get this thing together. Well done, you. But no, I'm not sure it's the most riveting thing. All in all, I think I'll give Solos a 3. There are some stories that are better than others. Some stories elevate themselves higher than others. But all in all, Solos, I would give that a 3. And now we go back to cinema, and we go to this is going to be interesting, because this is Shaun.
Going to be interesting.
Shaun,
are you ready?
One of those one word title supposed horror movies like Insidious. Or what's the other one? There's Insidious,
Sinister.
Yeah, Insidious, Sinister, and this comes from the same house that made Insidious and Sinister, and the next one is Malignant. So,
yes, Malignant.
Do we even need to know the story about this? Shaun, tell me.
Well, after seeing The Night House, I thought, oh, well, that one, because I didn't think that one was too bad. I thought, oh, I'd give this one another go. Because in the trailer, I saw the trailer for this, and it was quite interesting with Gabriel, because there's like an old VHS thing and stop that guy. Anyway, basically the story is, it starts off in this like psychiatric lab, and there's these 3 doctors, and they're saying something. They say, oh, this is really, really bad. We're going to have to cut the cancer out. So anyway, enough said. And then it sort of switches to modern day, and you've got this girl that's had numerous miscarriages with her husband, and things going wrong and everything. And her husband's a bit of a drinker, a bit of a boozer, and he pushes her against the wall, and she bangs her head. And then she starts having these strange things happening, like she appears she sort of the room all changes, and she finds herself watching some murders of these 3 psychiatrists that that happened to just be in the earlier part of the movie. So, and obviously the police are investigating, and they're doing all this, and then her sister comes, and it's so the things get stranger and stranger and stranger. You've got these 2 cops that, well, they're not very convincing as cops, but and some of the things that happen to them, you're like, really? Again, it's the bodies take more punishment than they can possibly imagine, and still, and obviously,
but it's a supernatural film.
Yeah,
hey.
And they're like, but I mean, they're like really, really bad shots. These cops seem to be really, really bad shots when they want to be, but really good shots when they need to be. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and it's like, bam, 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 miss. It's like, whoa. So yeah. Anyway, so basically, you've got these police investigators. Something happens. More murders happen, and then the police get this little lead. They go to this old massive deserted building is somewhere, and no one's seen it, and no one's broken into it, and nothing. And they go there, and they've left the records there. The records are there, so they're looking through these old boxes of records. Oh, look, there's these videotapes. Chuck all these videotapes on of all the stuff. Oh my God, look at this! Oh, things. So, yeah, this was this was very, very bloody, Sharon. So lots of spurting blood and
lots of sauce,
stab wounds, and appendages being cut off and things, and it was pretty nasty in that sense. And there was the ridiculous Matrixy sort of scene where there's like hundreds of cops, where it's just like, yeah. Anyway, so I guess you can guess where this is going. It's I've no
Is it a 4-star film?
So no. Shaun. So it sounds like you finally found in your search you finally found a film that would scare you. Would I be right in saying
possibly.
that?
Is it scarily good or scarily?
This has got to be it's awful.
Very
Honestly,
bad.
guys, yeah, it was really incredibly bad on so many levels. It doesn't make any
That's a shocker.
sense. Doesn't make any sense. There's so many faults in it. There's no narrative. It's just like all over the place. It's I mean, it's an interesting premise. The actual, I mean, I won't give away any spoilers. I wish I could. I'd love to give the spoilers because then
You can't spoil something that's already rotten.
That's a good point, Shaun. But yeah, let's just say if anybody's listened to this and they might have seen one of the old video nasties called Basket Case, that might give you some sort of clue as to what is happening. But so if toes. This was dire, man. This was dire. I mean, I don't even know for the fight scenes whether it could it scrape a 2? This might have to be our first
Okay,
one.
how many stars? One. We're going with a 1.
I'm trying to think if there's anywhere in it where it can scrape a 2. I'll tell you what. Because
Shaun, you know what? You're trying so hard to be so generous that I think I'm gonna have to call it. I'm gonna have to call it and give this a 1.
Okay, let's give this one a 1.
You have to struggle to find enough reasons to give it a 2. That's a 1 film by definition, really.
Yeah, it is a 1 film. Yeah. So we'll give this one a 1. It was bloody awful.
All right, cool. And now, okay. On that note, we started this podcast with Frank Grillo, and we're going to end this podcast with Frank Grillo. So, Sharon, you saw Nomadland. Tell us about this. Is this the second ever Frank Grillo 5-star film?
I wouldn't give it a 5-star, but it's certainly good. It's basically it's set in the Texas-Mexican border. And Frank Grillo and his family, his wife is played by Andie MacDowell, they've had this ranch basically for generations. They've ranched this land. And then a wall got built. And it got built basically on the other side of their land. So they've got the Rio Grande, which marks the boundary between America and Mexico. And their ranch, basically the land goes all the way down to the river on the American side. But when the wall was built, it was built on the other side of their ranch. So their ranch technically is in like a no man's land. To cross into America, they have to show their passports and go through controls. And so but effectively they are on the front line of tackling this sort of wave of illegal immigrants. And the film starts with a scene where they've rounded up all their cattle ready for them to be selling because they're struggling to sort of make ends meet. And so they're going to be selling some cattle. And in the night, a group of illegal immigrants come through and cut their fences. And so their cattle, some of them go across the river into Mexico and some of them run off. And they're deciding what they need to get their herd back together. So one evening, they're heading off to see if they can round up, track down where some of their cattle's gone. And they encounter another group of illegal immigrants, quite a large group. And I think there's it's in a night, there's a lot of shouting, everyone's disorganized, they don't know what's going on. And then a knife is drawn and someone gets threatened and someone starts shooting. And then before you know it, there's a young boy has been killed and one of the ranchers, one of Frank Grillo's sons, has been shot very seriously. And so you've then got a party of these, and then the rest of the film basically is the fallout of this one event. You've got these two fathers, the father of like this American lad who's been shot, and the father of this Mexican boy as a child who was being shot and killed. And you see how you see this sort of the divide of like these two families who both wanted what was best for their families, but in doing so everything's just gone horribly wrong. And you see basically the repercussions of this one night and what each father tries to do to protect their sons. One of the shooters involved in this incident is Frank Grillo's other son. So he had two sons with him. One of them was shot and the other one shot the boy, and then has fled. And so you see them, and then you see the father of the lad who was killed. You see both of them trying to find a way through this situation.
This sounds a bit sort of like drama-y.
Yeah, melodramatic.
It's a drama, yeah. It's a drama more than, because when I first saw it, the poster is like Frank Grillo, like
it's like lock and load,
and you expect a certain thing from him. And he isn't in it that much, actually. He's very much a secondary character in the film. But when he's there, you know, obviously he has impact. So it was not a typical sort of action film. When I first went into it, I thought, oh, this is going to be just an action film about, you know, cross-border tensions. But no, it's more to it. There's a little bit more depth to it than that. So yeah, it's a good watch.
All right, cool. One question. Because Andie MacDowell, we haven't seen her on screen much recently. And I was quite happy when a couple of years ago we saw her in Hide and Seek. She saw in Hide and Seek, and she showed up as the mum in that. Does she have much to do in this, or is she kind of in the wife role?
She's in the wife role in this. Again, so she is she's a rancher, a Texas rancher's wife.
Yeah,
who
okay.
doesn't know what she has to. So
yeah,
so
that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
It does seem like a waste of her. But Ed, how many stars did you give this?
So I think it was good. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but it was good, and I certainly found it entertaining. So again, I think it's in 3 territory, but there are certainly good moments. There's certainly 4 moments, but I would say on the whole it was a 3.
All right, cool. So that's a 3 for No Man's Land.
Yeah.
Now, I feel dumb asking this question, but who do you think has won this week?
I think it's a bit of a landslide this week. Cinema was holding the fort for a little while. Well, I think we had a couple of weeks where it was in the lead, and then it sort of held its own but it was very close. But I'm pretty sure this one, Netflix,
Malignant has been malignant to the score.
Oh, I like it, Sharon. I like it.
So yeah,
So you're all right. It's been a mediocre landslide, or a solid landslide, shall we say, for Netflix and Friends, because we had I Am Wrath 3, Solos 3, No Man's Land 3. So it's been 3s all across the board. Nothing really went above a 3. I feel like the most enjoyable thing this week was still Copshop.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, but on the cinema side of things, we had a law of diminishing returns. We had Copshop with 3, Respect with 2, Malignant with 1. So
Yeah.
so there just really wasn't. I don't really think there was a plan. But I think it's all in all, because I said last week that this being the week after a Marvel movie was released, I wasn't really expecting much to be released.
No.
And it looks like that's played out. But I'm still quite happy that at least I got to see Copshop. So
Yeah.
I believe that is it for this week. Until next week, when God knows what will be out. I don't know, 2 weeks after a Marvel movie. You think maybe it might be time for another Marvel movie?
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we've got the Isle of Wight Festival on this weekend, so we will be. Yeah, I don't know what the cinema's going to do, so we'll see what happens with our watching this weekend.
Yes, we'll see what happens. But I will continue watching. I've been watching What If on Disney Plus, the Marvel thing about different scenarios and what happened if somebody else took the super soldier syndrome instead of Captain America. What happened to all these different things? And I think some of the things are quite good. When it finishes, I will come in here with my thoughts. But cool. Until next week, when we will figure out what the heck's going on with cinema and see what we can watch. It's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Thank you very much for joining us, especially you, Bluewren.